Good afternoon, everybody. Russell Hill with WTF, and that's what the fixed ops. This is episode number 6 with my co-host Charity Dunning. Nico, however, is maybe not making an appearance today, but we have a very, very special guest referred to as the Tennessee Titan, which most of you probably know him by, Michael Barich with Murfreesboro Nissan. Michael, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Russell. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we're really glad. I'd like to get started, even though I think most people know you. Tell us a little bit about how you got where you're at right now. Tell us the backstory that most people know about the Tennessee Titan.
That they do know or don't know?
Well, why don't you mix it up, a combination of both, okay?
So short version, I've been doing this for about the last 30 years. I got my first parts manager job in 1993 and accelerated into a service and parts director role pretty quickly thereafter, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm currently the after sales director at Murfreesboro Nissan, and March 1st was my 3-year anniversary. So right. I just turned 3 years old there.
Good.
Little backstory on the store itself. It Please. Has been in existence for somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 40 years. Our company purchased that store and we went through a buy sell in August of 2018. And I joined the team in March of 19, and I inherited a very broken store. We were underperforming and definitely not taking care of customers. And they told me in person and social media ad nauseum. So it was apparent that we were broken. And, we made some great strides over the last 3 years. So in 2019, we finished in the bottom 10% of the customer in the country for customer pay, parts and labor sales. And I'm not
bottom 10%.
The bottom 10%. Wow. Yes, sir. And again, I'm not bragging because I was there for the lion's share of it, like 10 months. But we finished 2019 with some significant momentum.
Right.
And I feel guilty for admitting I said this, but I actually went to my general manager and said, wow, when the pandemic hit. And I said, there's never been a worse time for a pandemic. And really, if you think about that, it's an awful statement, but I didn't mean it that way. I just felt like we had a lot of momentum and a lot of good things to carry forward. So fast forward to 2021, we went from the bottom 10% in 2019 to the number 1 dealer in the Southeast region and finished number 3 in the country for customer pay, parts and labor sales. We also finished number 7 in the country for tire sales.
Wow.
So for those of you that know me, you will understand when I tell you that I'm hyper competitive in everything I do, and it shows in our work effort and our team. So the goal was to compete with the best in the country doing it when I got there. And I'm proud to tell you that we ended 2021 as the number 1 dealer in the country, number 1 Nissan dealer in the country for customer pay labor sales,
wow,
customer pay part sales, and we were the number 2 dealer in the country for tire sales.
That is a phenomenal accomplishment. And I got to ask you real quick, and thank you for sharing that. That probably didn't come easy. But, with my engagement with you over the last year and a half, you're a little bit different than most people. You just have a way of delivery. You have a way of dealing with customers. But I want you to tell me how big your store is, how many advisors you have, technicians, lanes, et cetera, if you don't mind.
I have an old facility that has one service lane. And trust me when I tell you this, I didn't relocate to move across the country because of the facility. It's really what I believe was the opportunity. So we've got roughly 24 bays and 38 techs, 14 service advisors. I built a formidable team.
Mm-hmm. How did you do it? Mike, how did you go from the bottom 10% all the way up to the first?
Number one. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a great question. And I'll give you my best answer. Okay. So in my opinion, this is a very easy business that has been convoluted and overcomplicated by way too many people that are chasing different things. But our success is predicated on people, and good processes. And we know that the processes, if done properly, will deliver a higher level of customer satisfaction. So good people and good processes deliver a higher level of customer satisfaction. And that's where it starts to get fun. When your customers become happy, then your employees become happy because they're not getting their teeth kicked in every day. So good people, good processes, happy customers turn into happier employees. And that's where the magic happens, because ultimately you reduce turnover and increase profitability as a byproduct of that.
Is it magic, coincidence, or luck? I mean, and I don't believe in any of those things. That's rhetorical, but I know from speaking with you and some of the things that we're involved with, and the things that I follow about you, and I really believe, and I think you do too, but the speed of the pack is set by the leader, and you have a particular way of doing things. And one thing I'd like to say, people talk about scheduling service and they're this far out and that far out and stuff like that. And if I'm wrong, do you even schedule, do people schedule service, or how does that work in your store?
We do not require appointments for express maintenance. I don't require appointments for anything. I mean, we do schedule them because inherently people call and know the difficulties with getting their vehicle into a dealership. And so I try to minimize those distractions and buffers by subjecting our team to a little bit more of a challenge every day by meeting the customer demands. But at the end of the day, I'm a customer outside of the dealership, and I want to do business how I want to do business.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So you say it's people and process. So what sort of processes did you put in place to streamline your service department?
Absolutely.
So I think the service experience is broken down into a couple simple key areas. And the first one is service reception and write-up. So our customers want to be greeted. They want to be greeted promptly, and they want to be greeted at their car. So I coach to that process. I don't want to bore you with the details of everything in between that and the write-up, but customers inherently want their time respected. So we have to understand that we need to be respectful of their time, because the most precious commodity to anybody that can fog a mirror is time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that we're respectful of that.
Absolutely.
And then the goodbye is just as important as the hello. And so service delivery is critical. And that's a time where, if we've done our job properly and we've gone through the invoice, cashiered the customer, and the multi-point inspection, we want to make sure that the customer is not leaving with questions. Mm-hmm. And that we share with them, we look forward to them returning, and we can see them at their next service visit.
That's great.
And thank them for their business.
How do you communicate with your customers?
Openly and honestly.
I'm sorry?
Openly and honestly.
Openly and honestly. Do you do it all in person, or do you do text, email, that sort of communication as well?
We have all the standard communication methods. So yeah, we use text message. We use email communications. We use all those avenues. In person's great.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say you're a lot of facilities that I've gone to in the past, you hardly see anybody of your caliber stature actually hands-on as much as I think you are. So are you always out front for the most part, or as much as you can be? Are you interacting with your technicians and porters and advisors and even customers in the waiting room?
Yeah, so that's a really, really, really good question. I don't interact with everybody 100% of the time, because I inherently don't believe that most people know what it takes to be a fixed ops director. And some people are of the mindset that, you know, I have to be there opening doors and some of that stuff. So I'm not going to critique anyone else's opinion, but I'm going to serve mine. And my opinion is to take care of our customers and take care of our employees, whether it's the advisors or our technicians. I mean, I walk through the shop every morning and say hello. I give a fist bump or a high five or a good morning to everybody in the dealership every single day. And before we had electronic deposit, I used to hand out checks on Friday religiously and shake people's hands and thank them for coming to work
Wow, that's
for me.
cool. Yeah, that's cool. That says a lot.
And our customers are obviously getting more and more demanding. So, you know, I'm a big boy with broad shoulders, and I've been doing this for quite some time. So I'm not afraid of communicating with people. I'm certainly not afraid of confrontation. I've been in a lot of awkward situations that give me the opportunity to defend myself.
You have you shared with me, well, a couple of different times. I remember some stories. I remember one that kind of sticks in my head about, I think it was, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but about a heat case, and they were out in the waiting room and they were unhappy and they were speaking loudly and belligerently, and you were out in the waiting room. You know, how do you handle those types of situations? Because they obviously happen. Now, I do believe that during COVID, the pandemic, et cetera, you know, staff short in a lot of places. So people seem to be much more forgiving. But, you know, when you have people like that and they're in the waiting room with the earshot of other people who are, for the most part, having a pleasant experience, how do you handle those types of deals?
Address it head on, meet them face to face and eye to eye. So you're right. That situation did happen. I was walking through the waiting room, just making sure that things were tidy and so on and so forth, like I typically do. And you're right. There was a customer that was on his cell phone in our waiting room. And one of the things we're blessed with is a massive indoor waiting room. We have the largest indoor showroom in the state of Tennessee, which also becomes the largest indoor waiting room. So I can describe the situation as this: there's 50 people around him, and the guy was having a conversation on his cell phone as if they didn't exist. And, you know, that drew my attention just because I like to watch people. Sure. And so he happened to be talking not only loudly, but obnoxiously, and then made a huge scene when he got the text message from my advisor that he received his multi-point inspection and said, I can't wait to see what they're going to sell me. And, you know, just went on and on and on. And so at this point, the antenna went straight up. Matter of fact, the horns came out too, just so you know. Okay. So I kicked the countertops for a few minutes and waited until he hung up the phone. And then I walked straight up to the customer and introduced myself. And I said, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. And I thought I'd take a minute to not only introduce myself, but also explain to you why we do a multi-point inspection. And I can assure you, we're not here to sell you anything. The purpose of a multi-point inspection is to provide you with a report card, and we and our recommendations are based on time, mileage, or condition of your vehicle during your service visit today. And should my team or technicians make a recommendation, I can assure you they're necessary, and preventative maintenance is cheaper than repairs. So we went on to talk about the specifics of a brake fluid service. And not only did he say yes to me and approve of that right away from his phone, but I'm certain that there was probably a few other customers that understood from the passionate conversation I had with the customer that preventative maintenance is cheaper than repairs. Mm-hmm. And, As I've been doing this for a long time, people have the perception that the automotive business is sleazy by nature.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
They make suggestions about used car salesmen, and I think they did have that perception for a long time. But I'm a professional, right? And one of my biggest challenges, I think, as a fixed ops director that shares the passion that I do with my team and my customers, is that I want them to inherently trust us as if I was their doctor or their dentist. So, the industry has just done such a good job of tanking that opportunity for me that it's really difficult to overcome that public perception.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the big bad guy on the other side of the door. We're not the big bad wolf. We do things honestly. We do things ethically. We do things morally. And integrity is a word that means something to me, and certainly has helped build the backbone of our company.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Jerry, I'm sorry.
No, that's amazing. That's a great story. It kind of sounds like when it comes to customer relationships, you almost have to approach it one customer at a time. Is that correct?
Fact. But I'm blessed that I do what I do for a living. I don't wake up in the morning and say, shit, I have to go to work today. I'm one of those gluttons for punishment that typically get out of bed before the alarm goes off, and I'm ready to take on the day. So I think the beauty of what I do is, while I'm in the automotive industry, I don't fix cars for a living. I fix people. And I fix customers and I fix employees.
Mm-hmm.
That's a secret sauce.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is. And I think taking care of customers one at a time is really, really important. The company I left that I ran for 15 plus years in Chicago, anytime we had any turnover in our advisor staff, which was rare, but the new people were astonished of how I knew so many customers, even though I didn't spend the lion's share of my time in the service drive. Sure. And it's because I fix people. When they have an issue, well, here's what I can tell you with 100% certainty. Customers want to do business with a car dealer. Customers want to return to the car dealer to have their vehicle serviced next time. But what the dealers have lost focus on is that desire that the customer wants to return. And they've treated them like some kind of number, or didn't treat them with common courtesy or respect that everyone's deserving of, in my opinion. Yeah. And so that's why retention rates across the nation are pitiful for just about every manufacturer.
It's really, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so when you solve customers and I can treat and talk to them as if, just like I'm talking with you, I think they have a real appreciation and respect for that's a guy that gets it. And if we make a mistake, listen, we're in the people business. So I'd be lying if I said we didn't make mistakes. It happens. But then you have to step forward, and there's the integrity part of this conversation, and apologize to the customer for whatever the inconvenience is, and then figure out a way to rectify it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. It's very true. Now, since I want to switch a little bit to kind of talk about, since COVID hit and this pandemic thing, there was a shift, and I believe what you're talking, there's a major paradigm shift going on out there. People are starting to focus on just some of the things that you're talking to, and how you do business. And I see a lot of this, and I know you're surrounded by a lot of the same people, and it's just not that way in other stores. And a lot of it is, I would say pretty simple. People want to know that they count, they matter, they're appreciated, and that they make a difference, and they want to be, they want to be treated that way. And I think the way you disarmed the gentleman in the room, I mean, that was just like, that would have been an excellent, like, training video type thing. And I know that you've done some video stuff, because we've talked about that as well. And then I wanted to ask you, have you seen anything really significant change? I mean, talk a little bit about marketing, because you handle do you have a advertising and marketing company, and do they work hand in hand with you? And how do you convey the message? et cetera. Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
So I think one of the most important tools in a tool belt for any fixed ops director should be marketing. At the end of the day, I'm responsible for driving traffic to the front door, and then assuming I've coached, taught, and trained my people, they're going to take good care of those customers, and in turn, they're going to return.
Sure.
So I don't remember exactly, but I was one of your early customers, I think.
You
one
were?
of the
Yeah.
one of the first, whatever
A
that number
skeptical
was.
one at that.
Well, of course.
Yes.
I don't let my guard down to many people, but you made it easy for me. And so, you know, as an old school guy that's been doing this for a long time, I grew up in the business with paper, right? So
Yeah.
I had to send mailers out, I had to send postcards out, I had to send different things that, you know, when I'm looking through repair orders the next day, I can see it, touch it, taste it, feel it. Oh, this coupon's working, this coupon's working, this coupon's working. Well, the business has evolved, and that's where I think the beauty of your product comes in. Because let me back up for a minute. So COVID hit, and it really heightened my awareness to my marketing prowess, and specifically in the digital arena. So I probably watched and sat in on well over 100 Zoom meetings, whether it was fixed ops, variable ops, or specifically related to digital marketing and Google My Business. I've honed that skill set specifically over the last 2 years. And why I'm a big fan of fixed ops marketing is, while I admitted to being an old school guy, I'm doing it in a new world. And so what most fixed ops directors can't see is that digital touch and what it means and how the customer is reacting. So it takes away the senses part of that interaction.
Sure.
You know, I'm doing this, but I don't know. Well, when you have reporting like is provided through fixed ops marketing, I can see how many people are coming to my website, what coupons they're clicking on. And then on top of that, the tool, as you know, on the platform sends me personally a notification that Mr. Jones came on and sent this CVT inspection coupon to his phone. And, you know, the marketing prowess in me says that's a customer, right? Or a potential customer. So we take that data and then share it with our BDC. And it's not like I want to creep customers, but I want to use it wisely. So if they haven't made an appointment and schedule a time to come in, I mean, we're going to reach out to them because the tool allows us to reach out to them via phone number that's provided in the email communication. And then you can see kind of what those conversion rates are for people that are going onto the website and then utilizing the coupons and coming in. So I think it's played a tremendous impact on our performance, right? From going from the bottom 10% to the first. I can't tell you it's the only reason, but I will tell you that it's had an impact. I've utilized the tool to the best of my ability to get the results that I want. And I'll tell you the other thing that I really like about the product is the ability that you guys have to drip those coupons to social media pages. I mean, anybody that's studied Google Analytics and how the algorithms work for Google is you have to have movement on your Google My Business page. There has to be action, there has to be posts, there has to be pictures, there has to be videos, there has to be all the stuff that moves up your relevancy. And then when you back it up with the SEO content that we have on every coupon, it's littered throughout my website. You know, it's made us very successful in organic searches.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's not any one single thing. It's a collaborative or teamwork. But you touched on something earlier that when the pandemic hit, right, everything kind of shut down. Once again, service became essential, right? People were, still driving, had to bring in for service. So everybody, I mean, literally had to reinvent how they were doing things, from, micromicrobial sprays and wipe downs to pickup and deliveries and all those types of things, which we're talking about. So when that happened, and understanding that your website is basically, it's your showroom online. That's where all 4 of the dealerships' profit centers are located, new and used, and parts and service, etc. Was
Open 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. Was there, and of course, most of it's crap. You go look at some of these websites. It's horrible. And I really do believe in all of us today, more than ever, the 3-click rule, because you're this way, probably, Cherry, all of us. If you're clicking on a site more than 3 times just to find the beginning or something you're looking for and you can't find it, you're out of there for the most part. So you want to deliver the right content, the right message at the right time. And you certainly do that. But going from what you said earlier about old school to embracing technology, and you may or may not have a definitive, was there one thing that stood out when you started watching these, Zoom became a really big thing, and seeing what was going on out there? Did that start that off? I mean, what was it where you started to embrace something and getting outside of your comfort zone, I guess?
Instinct.
You felt different. Something was different.
Mm-hmm.
I felt I needed to be different. I had to figure out a way to communicate differently to our customers. So I begged my EM for admin rights to our Google My Business page and also our Facebook page. And so I became an administrator for both.
Oh, wow.
And utilized those platforms to share a lot of content.
Absolutely.
And what's amazing is what you get out of that content. So, you play with it, you put up different things, but the results that are shared back when you touch 2,000 people, or, I've got some ridiculous results with some posts that I've put up on, especially on Google, that got, I would tell you, are stupid results, 50,000 views. Like, man, that's making a difference. And I'm just doing it from my desk or sometimes from my cell phone. I'll take a picture. I just posted a picture of a Frontier yesterday in our showroom. And I think overnight it got like 250 views. Man. And most fixed ops directors don't have line of sight to that, or don't know how to do it. And it's not rocket science. It's just playing around and learning. So I feel like I've become a digital assassin. I've added another notch to my tool belt, and it's one of those things where they're momentum bearing experiences, meaning the competition can't catch up, right? Because I've gotten so many views that I'm more relevant and higher up on the organic search in Google's platform. So, it's great for me. It sucks for my competition.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about your competition like that, I think I may have shared this with you, but we had a lead come in through our website, and they were looking at some alternatives, and it was a Nissan dealership.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Okay.
And well, there's more than one, but you might know that one. But it was really interesting that when I got on the phone and started talking to them, they were fixing to bite the bullet with something else, which, is a great company. I mean, there's not many people that play in the lake like of what we do, but there are a couple, and they do, there's just a little bit of difference, just a preference, and et cetera. But before they did that, they said, no, this is what they told me. The words may be a little different, but they wanted to go see what the number one dealership or number one website in the country looks like with those kind of stats that everybody in that region knows about. And that's how they ended up getting a hold of us. So your footprint is really kind of large, and you're also a target. Other people aspire to find out what makes somebody like you tick. And so I'm sure you have a lot of information, but not everybody can do exactly what you can do. And I was just curious that when have you ever gotten feedback from either your advisors or customers about how things are working? And do your advisors use these video coupons for educational purposes with consumers, et cetera?
We use every weapon that's available to us. And I do know the dealer group that you're talking about because, you know, I think winning is important. And so I share some of that stuff on social media. So those guys chimed in and, you know, they said, number one and what? And then I had quite a few dealers tell me that I had no idea what I was talking about. And,
oh my.
you know, I'm not going to waste time, effort, or energy responding to those guys because
I know you won't.
obviously they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, out of the two of us, it's obvious which one doesn't.
Right.
So, you know, they say imitation is the biggest form of flattery.
It is.
It is.
It is.
There you go.
And if
And
you have a hater, that means you're doing something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have thick skin too. So bring on the haters and good luck to the competition.
Yeah, you said something a minute ago about winning, and I forgot who it was that actually said it, but winning isn't everything, but wanting to is.
Yeah, going back to the competitive part I talked about, I'm fiercely competitive.
Oh, you are.
If there was a race in the neighborhood on who could get their garbage cans to the street fastest and make them perpendicular to the driveway, like set up perfect, I'm that guy. Like I'd be racing them down the driveway every single week. And you know, the gift and the curse of that is there's no off button with me, so I can't turn it off. It really just is what it is.
I'm sure you see results though, because not very many people are willing to go the extra mile and do research on Google My Business, which is now Google Business Profile, or, you know, watch videos on Facebook marketing, or, you know, go through all that. You know, they're more likely to take all that and hand it off to somebody else. And it says a lot about you that you're willing to go that extra step and do that.
It does. Here's what I get out of it. I really believe, and I have times, we all do, you know, when things are comfortable, we kind of like to, you know, we kind of like to just be there and enjoy the comfort and security of whatever it is. But for me, it's really a dangerous place. And I think it is for most people. They get complacent and lethargic, and they don't really realize that whatever it is that you want to do, you got to get up and do it now. And it means taking risks. So there's two kinds of fear, Mike. There's fear of the known and fear of the unknown. And when people are that comfortable, sometimes they know what the consequences or results going to be from their actions, but they're more comfortable even knowing the dire consequences of that versus stepping out in the unknown and risk taking a chance and failing, which my opinion is the first attempt in learning. So I really believe that life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. And that's apparently what you did. I mean, you reached inside and you said, yeah, I'm going to get this thing. And you did, you dug in and did the research.
Russell, if I may, I think I've lived there my whole entire career at the edge of my comfort zone.
Okay.
And I would tell you there may be a third type of fear in addition to the two that you're referring to. And for me, fear is for the other guy.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Not for me. So I'm not scared. I can roll up my sleeves. I can get dirty. You know, fear's for the other guy, not this guy.
Okay. Got it.
And I just have that kind of brutal, straightforward mentality that you won't sway me if my spidey sense is tingling and I feel like this is the right direction, then I instinctively will go down that road.
You do. I notice with many interactions, there's times where you're very quiet and you're just a student and listening, or at least that's my observation. And then other times you hop right in, or sometimes they call on you, you know, to have a comment. And there's times when you speak, you know, you're very passionate about what you're speaking about, and you firmly believe that. So are you open to, obviously this is one thing that I'm sure you are because of what you pivoted on the digital and marketing side. I kind of think the same way. There's a lot of things I'm pretty rigid about. However, I will listen if it's brought to me right. I'm more than happy to listen and collect new information and reading and listening and, you know, whatever it may be. by people that I think have fruit on the tree instead of the branches are bare. Au contraire, I just don't want to go there because they have nothing of value to offer. But I've changed my opinion about a lot of things over the years, or my stance on something, because I have more information where people said, hey, well, you said such and such. Well, that was 5 years ago. I have new information. So I changed my mind and my opinion. Does it work that way for you too? Or
Knowledge is power.
it is.
It is.
So your opinion can change, and your wants and desires can change as you get more educated or spend more time learning something. And so on that note, the variable side has been very in tune to some of the acronyms as it relates to digital marketing, SEO, SEM, remarketing, those types of things.
Sure.
And so what I don't quite understand is why the manufacturers have all pled ignorance that it's only important for one side of our business and not the fixed side. They don't do retargeting campaigns, and they don't do any of those things that involve driving traffic to your door. I'll go back to something I said previously, that one of the most important things that I do as a fixed ops director is drive traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So you actively go after, I'm obviously inactive customers, active customers, reaching out to them, engaging them. And you also, it sounds like, I don't know why, but now when I was in the car business and worked my way up to running the stores, et cetera, before I got out and got on the vendor side, I got to tell you, I 3 days a week, it was just part of what I did. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 7:30, I'd be on the service drive, helping out, listening and watching. And I got to tell you, a service advisor, I forgot his name. I was trying to recall it, but I watched him handle heat a lot that came in to the service department. And instead of being defensive and engaging the customer right off the bat, et cetera, he just listened for just a couple of minutes and he would acknowledge, and there was eye contact that he was listening to understand, not to reply type of thing. And then he said, I apologize. Can you forgive me? And he shut up. And I saw this many, many times, and I use it today, and it's very effective. And when he shut up, I mean, it could be 5-10 seconds. It seems, infinity, but the customer just dropped the veil and apologized and asked for forgiveness. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take that out on you and stuff like that. So there was a long time, there was a disconnect, and I still see it today between the sales department and the service department. What's it like in your store, Michael?
We work as a team. For me, I don't have multiple teams, so I don't have a parts team and a service team. I have a fixed ops team, so I don't put up any walls, and then I certainly don't put up any with our variable side. If we have customers that might be interested, we'll, get them in front of one of our sales professionals. But I'll tell you one better. I'm not prejudiced in the fact that I'll only service a vehicle with a Nissan emblem on the grill. So we service most makes and models, and we've created a lot of traffic and a lot of traction in our market area because of it. So, it's not uncommon to see another make vehicle in my service department getting serviced. We do the stuff that their dealer can't, like express service, do it in a timely fashion, respect the customer, and thank them for their business when they're done. In addition to opening up those opportunities for those customers, Nissan's gone in a really great direction. And this is just my opinion. They introduced the Nissan Next strategy in 2020 that's really made a huge difference, in my opinion, to the brand, the product, our customers. And so I'm able to take those customers and now introduce them to this brand new product. And so I'm trying to interrupt my marketplace the best I can by providing a high level of quality service at a competitive price to everybody. Yeah. And so I think I mentioned earlier about the imitation is the biggest or greatest form of flattery. Nissan North America's headquarters, national headquarters, is in Franklin, Tennessee, not too far from where I work. And so they are taking a page and a play out of my playbook, and now trying to push that narrative nationwide because they've seen the success I've been able to have and do with it. And, you know, good for them. Kudos for catching on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Yeah, they're standing up, taking notes. So since you got and self-taught yourself for the most part about marketing and digital footprints and Facebook and all the social media venues, prior to that, who did maintain the things on your website regarding coupons, service, parts, accessories, specials, and things of that nature? And did it do a good job of converting? Did you really know, or were you able to quantify? I'm just curious.
So the website provider did all of those things, but at the behest of my direction. So I had to tell them what coupons I wanted, and they had to have an expiration date. So if by chance I got distracted and didn't realize that on the 1st I needed to update those coupons and make sure I changed the expiration dates, our website would look much like a lot of the dealers across the country that says coming soon, like they don't have any.
Yeah.
So you know, that one of the great benefits of being a customer of yours is those things reset on the 1st of the following month, assuming you have the right content up there. So
Sure.
it's utilizing your product makes life easier for me as a fixed ops director, and the simplicity of changing whatever is on the website that I need to is just a phone call away.
Yeah, it doesn't take an act of Congress, does it?
No, which is great because I'm in the now business, right? I've got to do things now, and anything that I delay stacks, right? It's like a traffic jam on whatever the local highway is outside of your door, and you have all these cars parked there, and it gets really stressful and uncomfortable. So I like an empty highway. I like to speed as well, so I'll go above the speed limit and get to where I want to go quickly, with intent and purpose. So being able to reach out to someone like Leanne, who is a real godsend, by the way, and a gift to your company. She's so helpful and so quick to respond to my requests. I really love her like family.
Aw.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, she's expecting to see you at NADA when you're out there as well. Yeah.
You'll be at NADA?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. We've been kept in the dark and doing this right for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And what's really strange about that is I've developed some super strong relationships, like I think I have with Russell,
Yes,
but with many other people. And guys like Ed Roberts, Dave Foy, Eric Wargi, Joe Chambers, just a bunch of guys that feel, Jeff Daniels, they feel like brothers to me. I would hug them, you know, like I would anybody else. And it's going to be weird to actually go to Vegas and see someone face to face and like make eye contact and shake hands and do all the stuff that we were used to doing pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So Charity,
I'm really looking forward to
real.
next week.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they're real.
Charity is our, I think I said at the beginning, if I didn't, my apologies. She's our CMO, our Chief Marketing Officer. And I must tell you, half the employees I haven't ever even met. I feel like I know Charity really well, just like you, Michael, but it's all been Zoom. Never met in person, and they're going to all be out at NADA, which is really phenomenal. And it's really weird how things have changed, because prior to the pandemic COVID situation, I would occasionally do a GoToMeet or a Zoom meeting as kind of this last minute default, you know, depending on what it is and the type of meeting is, instead of spending $2,500 to fly across the country, rent a car, get a hotel, you know, for a 30-minute meeting. Right. So, but when the pandemic hit, everything changed. And it's like, this became the new norm. So a lot of times people would they wouldn't even show to the meetings. I can't tell you how many times that happened. It happens rarely now, but prior it was like, boom, now it's a mainstay. It's how we interact. It's just all the names you mentioned earlier. I haven't met day 4. I mean,
But you know them all very well.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like family. We're together every single week on multiple shows. It's amazing. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. So what booth are you going to be in, Mike? So people can come say hi.
I will not be at or in a booth. I will be wandering aimlessly,
Oh, okay.
just doing my thing. So there's a lot of people I want to get out and meet, like Russell and Leanne and the rest of the team. I want to shake hands.
Hell no, we're hugging,
and
man.
yeah, we can do that too, brother. I'm good with that.
Okay. No, I
Well,
think that's great.
Definitely stop by our booth and say hi.
Yes.
Oh, I promise.
We like to ask the FixedOPS directors we talk to, what kind of management style, and how would you describe your management style?
Firm but fair.
Fair.
Boom.
Tell us about that. How would someone else describe you?
Hopefully the same way. I'm repeating what I've heard. I think I treat my team the same way I treat myself. I have a high level of expectations, and I commit to executing at that level, and I expect the same thing from my team. So it's no different. I at the end of the day, I think my team. So let me just say this, and this is arguably very, very true. I'm not for everybody, and at the time and during the interview, I tell people that straight up, matter of factly. Some people don't want to win and don't want to be uncomfortable, but I work very hard at getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So I don't know what else or how to answer that question.
Yeah, good
but
question.
hopefully that answers your question.
It makes sense. I understand what you're saying. You're always reaching where I'm sure a lot of people want to just go to a job and not push themselves very hard, not it be too challenging, and you're the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I'll tell you what, I really respect everybody for just being human and being on the planet. And I typically love people where they're at, but I'm going someplace. Charity's going someplace. You're going someplace. And I know that I have 5-minute people in my life, and I'm talking to them. I want solutions to challenges that I have. And I want to talk to people that have those. And I know that 95% of the population gets their information from the same 95% of the population that has what they have or less than what they have. And they wonder why the hell they don't have anymore. Well, quit listening. You're listening and reading and associating with the wrong people, right? I mean, you can't go where you want to go, remain where you're at. So something obviously has to change. So it's like, when these people come into my life, because I work with a lot of people in recovery as well, outside of this in my family, but when they want my time is really valuable. Okay. I think it is. But when they want my time, I'll give them a few minutes to talk about, the challenges they're having, and I'll try to move them to a solution-based outcome or what's next. Instead, because if we're not careful, we don't really watch what we're doing. None of us on this Zoom are like that, but they can pull you down a wormhole real quick. And I'll have to make an excuse or just say, I don't even sometimes do that. I say, I'm going to have to go. I'll check back in with you later or something like that. But if they're not willing to look at the solution and it's like you're in a car and you have the rear view mirror that you can quickly glance at and look at to see where you just came from. But if you spend too much time there, you're going to have a wreck. You just are. So, I mean, it's all about today, right? It's all about now. It's all about moving in a particular direction. And I really like your philosophy with that. And you associate with winners. And because I see you in these other chats and forums and places like that where people tap on you. But I know for a fact that you get information from those people too, that either solidify where you're at and what you're doing, but you're certainly open to new ideas. And I think you lead the same way. One question I have is that when people have challenges at work, because life happens while you're busy making other plans. I think John Lennon said that best, love that guy to death. He's right there on my wall. So anyway, I'm really a believer in that. People don't have the drive that that you have, or that I have, or that Charity has. They don't have that drive, but they have drive. Are they willing to be mentored by you? Or do they listen to your suggestions? I mean, do you help them over rough patches and listen?
So I would say yes, 100% without a doubt. You know, for me, it gives me the greatest and most sincere appreciation for what I do is watching people grow. And
Boom.
typically, if I'm speaking, I think at this point in time in my career, I've established myself where they should be listening. And if they are, hopefully they're processing that information. And so, you know, I've been able to have a tremendous impact on many, many people. That really is the greatest form of repayment, is watching them grow. And I think I agree with you 100% about that worm or rabbit hole that you could get pulled down in. So winning's an attitude, and so is losing. If you're accustomed to losing, it becomes habit. So I agree with you 100%, but winning's important.
Yeah. And you strike me as the type of person that, what gives you passion is helping other people, seeing your service advisors grow. Am I right about that?
Yeah, 100%. Nothing fuels the fire more than that. I mean, the other thing that is kind of a staple in my business is I typically don't hire people with experience. I like to hire rookies, people that have no idea what the industry is about, but have the right attitude and right wants and desires, the ability to have a servant attitude and take care of customers. So I'm probably the only guy on the planet that will tell people at the time of interview, if you follow my advice and my recommendations, and I spend a lot of time coaching, teaching, and training, that I will guarantee your success, period. And they'll look at me and kind of turn their head sideways. But I say, a matter of fact, if they listen to me and pay attention to the onboarding process, I will change their life. And that part is the most rewarding for me.
That's an incredible guarantee you got there.
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of people heed that. Early on, about 28 years ago, when I was making significant changes in my life, I met this guy. This is just one small example. And I was ready. I had surrendered. I was ready. And he was a multimillionaire, and I tapped on him. I asked him to lunch, and he accepted. He made it very clear. By the time the hour and a half was up, he made one suggestion before he left. And if we were going to get back together, he would know based upon certain things. And he said, I'd be more than happy to, but I'm not looking for people who are following me, Russell, because I got the people that I'm following. Okay. And what I really respect is that you tapped on me and you asked me if I could tell you how I got where I got. And that intrigued me. I love helping people that are ready to drink the water, right? When the student's ready, the teacher will appear, all those things that we hear. And so he asked one thing of me, and he said, I'm going to make suggestions to you as we go on, and I'll continue to, share time with you, et cetera. But when you don't take my suggestions or you don't tell me what's going on, it's over. I want you to understand that. Are we clear? And I was clear. He said, I want you to go get a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I used to think it was Carnegie, but it's pronounced Carnegie. And I want you to read 15 minutes a day. And I said, well, yeah, I can do that. No. He's Russell, not 16 minutes, not 14 minutes, 15 minutes, and you stop. You think it's easy? Most people, they don't. It's not as easy as you think it is. But if you do that, I promise outside of a year that your life will transform and you'll be on your way, and you'll get the basic concept of how people that are going places, how they get moving. And within 6 months, it revolutionized my life and my whole thinking about where I was going, people I was associating with. And it was a hell of a journey, man. It really was. It sounds like that's kind of what happened with you, or how you work with your people too, right?
Well, I love the fact that you talk openly and honestly about the past, and your passion is so commendable and respectable. But what he didn't tell you when he asked you to do the 15 minutes of reading is that he's going to teach you discipline. And so the discipline of repeating that behavior every day built up your ability to not only comprehend and understand, but the reward was enough where you duplicated the behavior, and you've probably been following down the same path for 25 or 28 years.
I didn't know it at the time, Michael. I didn't know that there was multiple things, but that was the big one: being disciplined, committing to something and follow through, even if it was uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And I would tell you that there's a reason the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror, right? So you can't spend a whole lot of time thinking and looking in the past. You got to be focused on the future and what the opportunities are, and create your own opportunities.
True. Yeah, I know I really believe this, that you're a servant leader. And I've seen you multiple times bend over backwards to reach out to somebody, as long as they're willing to take your, advice, constructive criticism, whatever the case may be. And for me, when I get into funks sometime, I found the best solution when I'm not in my space or something like that, is to go help somebody else. And when I do that, it just seems to all disappear.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And it's that ability that you have to influence other people, however big or small. That is the rewarding part that keeps the batteries charged in between the ears.
Absolutely. I just had a brain fart. I'm so glad you can edit this out, Charity.
Is there anything that we have missed that you want to share?
Yes. It's all you. Anything you want to talk about?
Anything at all.
I don't know that there's any one thing that I want to talk about. If you gave me enough time, I'm sure I could think of something, but I'm just more thankful for the opportunity to come on and share my story with you guys and whoever else might be listening. So really, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, we appreciate you as well.
Yeah, we really do. You're a very special guest. I feel really close to you. And it's just amazing what technology has done. Because like I said, I haven't even met you or Charity, but I'm damn sure going to at NADA. We're talking like 5 days away, brother, 6 days away. So it's really great. Listen, we appreciate you. We appreciate your support with our technology and the solutions that we provide the automotive industry today. I know you're obviously hands down, hand raiser and spokesman for us, and we really appreciate that. And so thank you once again for showing up today and participating in this. I thought it's just really great.
Yeah.
So I guess a last minute tidbit. You asked me a question earlier if I knew what my conversion rate was for customers coming to our website and looking at a coupon. And I didn't have a way before utilizing your platform to do that without maybe reaching out to the web provider and trying to sift through a bunch of information to get what it was very cumbersome. But today I do know, right? I get a report every month and it's something I look forward to. What should be alarming is you asking that question to a dealer principal that doesn't know the answer to it, because that should be real information that they should not only have at their fingerprints, but should be as important to them as it is to me. So I'm not quite sure why every dealer on the planet isn't using the platform. And I'm not just blowing smoke. There's tangible deliverable content, whether it's through the digital side of reporting or I've got a companion right here.
Yeah.
Rucker, say hi.
So
or the ease of putting together an email campaign and sending out whatever harebrained idea I have. It just makes it so easy and simple. But if I was a dealer principal, man, I would be paying attention to this for fixed operations, because they've been talking about, like I said, SEM and remarketing campaigns or
Yeah.
retargeting campaigns,
Yeah.
but they've ignored, like, there's still only one half of their business.
I know.
And at some point in time, the light bulb has to come on.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it is through stuff like this. Incidentally, is it okay to share your contact information if someone wanted to reach out and ask you a question or get your feedback, et cetera? Or would you prefer not to at this time and let them just find you, or you tell us?
No, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. They can reach me on my cell phone. It's a 708 area code, 744-5425. And feel free to reach out if anybody has any questions or comments for that matter.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Charity.
much, Michael.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to get the word out too. We don't understand it sometimes either. You know, it seems so common sense for us, you
It
know,
does.
and so easy. We really try to make it automatic and automate it. And
Yep.
we really try to hand it over on a plate,
Yep.
just on a platter. Like, here you go. This is easy. So we're working on getting the word out there too. And especially with people like you bringing on the show and having a good conversation. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it makes it easy when you have, it makes it easy when you have somebody like you. Thank you, Charity. Thank you, Michael. And thank all of you for episode 6 of WTF. And that's what the FixedOPS marketing. You will see this in its entirety and excerpts along the way. But as this happens, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, reach out to us, like us, follow us. We'd really appreciate it. And we appreciate all of your support. And Michael, thank you once again for showing up.
All of those platforms, for those of you watching, you can drip content to help do some marketing for your FixedOPS team.
That's it. I love it.
True story.
Oh, there's Nico. Hi,
there
Nico.
Hi, buddy.
Uh-oh. He let me guess, he just woke up.
He just woke up.
Okay, he's gonna be wanting some food here pretty quick. But
yep, you got to meet him, Michael. You got to meet him.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, y'all have a great day.
Oh,
All
Appreciate
right.
your time today.
You too.
Yeah, I get in on Wednesday night, so I'll come see you on Thursday morning, I'm sure, when the show opens up. And I don't.
No, it doesn't open until Friday.